Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. My goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can decide whether or not you want to spend time or money or both sometimes watching a particular film. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called The Color Purple, the new one. This dramatic and musical movie is now available on digital platforms. It's rated PG-13 and is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Now, I actually recorded this, I don't know, 2 weeks ago and thought it went live. And then I looked and I'm like, what? Where did it go? And I can't even find the recording. So I apologize that this is late. This actually came out at the end of 2023. And I feel like I'm still trying to catch up from those December movies. But I wanted to tell you about it because I thought it was really good. And in fact, my movie review mom grade is an A. I really enjoyed this. So let me give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked, things I didn't like, tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also enjoy. So let's dive in. In a nutshell, The Color Purple was a book written by Alice Walker, which was later turned into a movie and directed by Steven Spielberg and produced by none other than Oprah Winfrey. Later, that book was turned into a Broadway musical. And so this movie is sort of a combination of the original book, the original movie, and the original Broadway production. Producers of this lovely remake include Oprah Winfrey and Steven Spielberg, who were obviously involved in the original. While Oprah acted in the first movie, she declined to appear in this one, which was just disappointing. All right, so let me share some of the things that I really liked about this film. First of all, the cast did a terrific job and includes Coleman Domingo, Danielle Brooks, H.E.R., Halle Bailey, David Allen Greer, Dion Cole, John Baptiste, Louis Gossett Jr., Felicia Pearl Mpasi, and many more. Terrific casting all around. The leading star is Fantasia Barrino, who won American Idol Season 3. It's so great to see her again, and she just crushed it in her performance. Taraji P. Henson does her own singing in this movie. Wow, I had no idea that she had those musical chops. Rumor has it that she worked with a vocal coach for months to prepare for her role in this movie. Time well spent. Corey Hawkins is so charming and talented. I loved him in the movie In the Heights. Did you ever see that film? If not, definitely go see that. Add it to your watch list. He truly sparkled in that musical, and he would have more in this one, but he's not in this movie as much as I would have liked him to be. The music and the choreography in the Heights are so fantastic. They are great in this movie as well. I love that Whoopi Goldberg has a cameo performance in this movie. She was terrific in the original movie, and of course, this project, this original movie, was one of the things that launched her career. So I'm really happy that we get to see a little bit of her in just a tiny cameo in this one. There is a fantastic soundtrack, just gorgeous. This new version of the story elevates the original film by including singing, which was and is such an important element of the African American experience. The musical numbers and choreography are perfectly suited for that content. I recently rewatched the original film just so that I could compare it with this new version. And my conclusion is that they're both really great. But I really love this one, probably because of the additional music, singing, choreography, and all of that. There are some really great transitions and editing. And there's a scene in the movie where creepy birds swarm. And I've actually seen it myself in Texas when I was there for a conference a few years ago. It's startling when you see it and creepy. And so I asked about it at the hotel where I was staying and found out that the birds just do that every year. They're called grackles, although I don't know for sure if that's the kind of bird that's shown in this movie, just that it really does happen in real life. I love the visual and musical interpretation at the 50-minute mark when Celie becomes so enchanted by Taraji P. Henson's character. She sings while standing on this giant record that's moving to illustrate the music and magic that she feels in her soul. I thought it was so clever and sweet. We get to see David Alan Grier play the piano and sing too. I've always loved him ever since the TV show In Living Color. Do you remember that one? Now, ultimately, you will cry. The ending is so sweet. It is a powerful film. Now, there were just a few things that I didn't like. First of all, while the movie intersects the original feature film and the Broadway musical, it doesn't necessarily build on them to create anything new. Well, all right, as I look at my notes, that's the only thing I didn't like about the movie. It's just revisiting areas where we've been before in the book, the original movie, and the musical. One thing, though, I think that it does add is just a love for this story, the culture, and the lessons that can be learned from it. I love that this musical version from Broadway is now on the big screen so everyone can enjoy it. Now, let me give you some tips for parents. I think there will be some kids who will be a little bit bored. There's a lot of talking as well, and it's not necessarily an appropriate subject matter based on some of the delicate things that happen. While there is singing and laughter in moments, the topics of abuse are heavy and dark, really throughout the entire film, even more so in the original movie. At least in this version, we do have a break with singing and dancing. There is smoking and drinking in the movie that's portrayed. Two women kiss, and later they're seen in bed together. And the first movie doesn't necessarily illustrate a lesbian relationship, but maybe a tender love for very close friends. At least that's how I chose to interpret it. But in this movie, it definitely portrays more of a lesbian relationship. So just heads up for parents on that. Some of the themes are the American Black experience, family, marriage, sisterhood, abuse, hope, courage to be who you are and who you want to be, mental health, and generational trauma. Now, whenever I watch movies, I'm taking notes because I want to write down funny lines and interesting lines simply to share with you so you can get a taste and feel for the film, the quality, the script writing, the dialogue, and such. And so here's a funny line that I just made me laugh. So Taraji P. Henson plays a character named Shug Avery, and she's just flamboyant and enthusiastic and energetic. And so she's saying goodbye with her cute southernness. She says, "I'll be back before you can spell Mississippi." And I love that we definitely get an injection of the South, both good and bad. Some of the interesting lines, by the way, you can see all of these on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. But I'll share some of the interesting lines that I wrote down. Celie, again, played by Fantasia Barrino, says to a character, "He sure looked nice for a devil." And that one made me laugh as well. Back to Taraji P. Henson, she says, "Everything and everyone wants to be loved," which is absolutely true. And what the choices that we make are really driven by that love or that desire for love and acceptance. And if you have developed a bad habit or bad behavior, consider what is it that you're truly wanting and what would be a better way of getting that. And then finally, a last line is spoken by Danielle Brooks, who plays Sophia. And the line is, "That's how I seen God, because he living inside you." And I thought that that was really sweet. Despite the many hardships and lack of equality and trauma and challenges, they had hope. And I don't know that there's anything else you could have done but to have hope. You always have to have hope. And I think this movie is a great testament to that. Now, let me give you recommendations for 3 films that I think that you definitely should add to your watch list. If you haven't seen the original movie, The Color Purple, definitely check that out. And I think that they're different enough that you'll enjoy it. And you'll get some different perspectives as well. Another excellent movie about the slave trade in old America, and in the South is 12 years a slave. It is harsh and it is a drama, definitely not a comedy, definitely not a musical. And then a classic that I would love for you to fall in love with, like I did when I was a young girl, is to watch the mini series called Roots. It is what really kickstarted the whole craze of genealogy and searching for your family's roots back in the 1970s. I remember thinking it was so amazing. Years later, as my kids were growing up, I'm like, you got to watch this. And they lasted maybe 20 minutes and were bored out of their minds. And it looked very old fashioned, but it's still a really good classic. And so if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. And it, by the way, is the story of Alex Haley, who is an African American who was trying to research his family roots. And this is the saga that came from his discovery. Anyway, I just really loved it. And by the way, if you are interested in discovering your own roots, check out my book called Ancestry: How to Research Your Family Roots and Climb Your Family Tree. It's available on Amazon right now. Run and go get it. And it's also available as an audiobook. It offers lots of tips and ideas on how to honor your heritage and how to find your ancestors and living relatives. All right, that's it. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.